Hello! You are welcome to do these notes right there in your book, and then you could just take a picture of it, or you could do it on a document that you print out, or if necessary, you could do it on a separate piece of paper without the text, whatever works best for you. Anyway, there are just a couple of things I wanted to point out with this one. There was an old woman, she had so many children she didn't know what to do, is making an allusion to that old nursery rhyme. There was an old woman, she lived in a shoe, she had so many children she didn't know what to do. Something about spanking them soundly and sending them to bed, I don't know. But I wanted to review the word allusion, making an allusion to another text or story of something outside of this story. Rosa Vargas's kids are too many and too much. It's kind of an interesting expression there. Too many and too much. Too many meaning too many in number, but too much? Kind of like too much to handle, right? Too energetic, too undisciplined. Too many and too much really says something different. It's not her fault, you know, except she is their mother and only one against so many. They are bad, those Vargases. Such an interesting line. I want you to remember that this is a telling modality where we just get told something. They are bad. We don't get shown yet. And it just reminds me that probably, you know, this isn't our little girl's voice, Esperanza's voice, but probably it is parents or people in the neighborhood who've just kind of declared that these kids are bad. You know, you shouldn't play with them. They're going to be a bad influence. And it's too bad that happens, but I can kind of see the point. You know, wouldn't want my kids to hang out with people that are a bad influence. And then you've got this whole big long sentence. They are bad, those Vargases, and how can they help it with only one mother who was tired all the time from buttoning and bottling and babying, and who cries every day for the man who left without even leaving $1 for bologna or a note explaining how come. It's a bit of a run-on sentence. I'm going to mark it as RO for run-on. But a run-on, you know, just like fragments that are now okay if you do them right, a run-on like this, I kind of like how, one thing you can do with a run-on is that even if it goes on for a while, it can capture a whole entire story or a whole entire thought and leave you with a single impression. And I kind of like how the run-on sentence imitates how tired she gets. You know, by the time we're finished reading the sentence, we're tired too. And I like that. It helps mimic the meaning. Let's not forget about our nice B's we've got going on here, buttoning and bottling and babying. What do we call that principle? That's right, alliteration. And it's nicely done. And then I guess, yeah, maybe just over here. Let's do this. Let's do culture of poverty. Okay, as I had you guys read a bit about the culture of poverty, I don't want you to think that everybody in poverty is the same. There's lots of exceptions. But one thing we know is that there's a tendency in poverty, in generational poverty, to be in systems and families that are matriarchal, okay, mother-centric, mom's rule. Could be because the men are out of state, trying to find work, looking for work, don't come home very often. Maybe they're just absentee, they're gone, left very recklessly. Maybe they have substance abuse issues, maybe they're in and out of jail. There's just a lot of reasons why the men struggle a bit in generational poverty and maybe can't be there for the families. I lived in Russia for a semester, and I sure saw that. It was in the year 2000, and the men at that time period die quite young. They lost a lot in the war, and then the alcoholism and the smoking causes such problems that literally there's a huge number of old women that outnumber the men by a lot. You have these babushkas living in poverty who are trying to survive, and they're actually quite busybodies, and they'll chew you out, but they're trying to keep their communities together and run things. The grandmas, the moms, you know, are running the show. I really, really saw that. So another thing along with the culture of poverty is this idea that because you're in survival mode, right? Very present tense thinking, there's a tendency towards impulsivity, not being able to control your impulses. See something, take something. Need something, want it. Let anger go. You don't always have time in poverty to teach your children about cause and effect relationships, about, hey, have some discipline now so that in the future it'll be better. Now, little John, you shouldn't eat cookies before dinner because here's the reason why. It's just not taught per se in general. So here you definitely have kids that are out of control. I would say there's plenty of love in the family. I wouldn't say they're neglected. It's just a trend, okay, that there's some behavior issues because they're thinking on the spot and nobody has taught them how to control themselves. You have the kids bend trees and bounce between cars, those beautiful, vivid verbs plus the B's, and they dangle upside down from their knees and almost break like fancy museum vases you can't replace. Of course, it's a human being, Nice simile there. They think it's funny. They are without respect for all things living, including themselves. And how hard is that to see that their lifestyle, whatever's going on, has made them not, we don't know to what extent, but lack of worth, lack of trying, just kind of living and surviving. But after a while, you get tired of being worried about kids who aren't even yours. One day, they are playing chicken on Mr. Benny's roof. And I wanted to just point out here, right there, we've been told a lot of information about these kids. And all of a sudden, we move into showing modality. We're going to now start a story. We're going to be right there. One day, they're playing chicken on Mr. Benny's roof. Mr. Benny says, hey, ain't you kids no better than to be swinging up there? Come down. You come down right now. And then they just spit. And we get a little anecdote, a little story that kind of proves what we've been talking about. Notice how we have a neighbor guy. Let's put it like this. Let's put Mr. Benny in a little arrow and just say he's trying to be helpful, disciplining kids that aren't his. But it's just interesting to think, in our culture, other parents don't discipline other people's children. Sometimes we want to, but we just don't as a general rule. And yet here you have this community of people looking out for each other and even giving advice. Okay, here's some nice fragments. See? That's what I mean. No wonder everybody gave up. And then you've got another big old run-on, and it captures all of the incidents that the trouble that the kids get into. And so again, we have one theme. We'll put one theme. And that is just accidental injuries that these kids get into. Just stopped looking out when little Ephraim chipped his buck tooth on a parking meter and didn't even stop Refugia from getting her head stuck between two slats in the back gate. And nobody looked up, not once, the day Angel Vargas learned to fly and dropped from the sky like a sugar donut, just like a falling star, and exploded down to earth without even an O. Very tragic. The situation ends up just in a, it's left unspecified. I think it's a death. This word exploded down to earth. Wow. Like a sugar donut? What an odd simile. Dropped from the sky like a sugar donut. Okay, you don't have to draw this, but I kind of think of those machines that make donuts that would drop dough in kind of globs and then it would land on a conveyor belt. Hi, I'm a donut. And maybe some machine over here would poke the hole in it or something like that. But splat. Like a sugar donut. Okay, there's one more thing, and I know there... Oh, right. I don't want you to miss the irony. Okay? What is Angel's name? Angel. And he, quote-unquote, learns to fly, except he doesn't because humans don't fly. But his name is Angel. So make sure to write down irony. Angels have wings. He does not have wings. And yet I love the fact that he's named Angel because this is a life. It's a human child with potential, just like a falling star, a star with potential. And now he's very likely gone, you know. Nobody's fault. It just happened. It's tragic. And we get to kind of think, what could he have been had his life been different? All right, that's all I wanted to say about that one. Go have a good day, everybody. Bye for now.